All right, our next project. This is a Racine Power Hacksaw. I picked this up, I think it was 5 years ago. Looked around for one forever. I finally found one. Just hasn't had time to get to it yet. It's funny, I had this urgent need for it. I get it, and then it's 5 years before I restore it. But we're gonna do that now. So a couple things I need to do, obviously get it cleaned up. But the way this guy had it set up, I didn't like it at first. I didn't like this cart at first, but it's kind of grown on me a little bit. He's got a gear reduction drive. So the motor is right there. Cable pulley there, belt, and then that's the output of the gear reduction. And then it goes up. This would have been line shaft driven. And someone's put a pulley on this that may or may not line up with the one on the gear reduction drives. So I was gonna get rid of that immediately, but I don't know. I think what I'd like to do is leave it there, get this cleaned up and lubricated and run it and see, how well does that speed work? I mean, if it's the right speed, that's really what I need. This is the mechanism that lifts the blade every time it goes forward. On the forward stroke, it lifts the blade up. This is this cam action here. As it goes back, see, so as it goes back, you see this lower down, okay? And then the bottom of these L-shaped brackets hit the stop down here. And then as we go forward, you watch, these will go in. and then they catch on these teeth right here. And as it goes forward, it lifts the blade up, and then it drops it back down. That's kind of cool there. Other end is this spring, so that keeps pulling it down. What I've seen a lot online is, you see these L brackets here. You have this spring that goes here. I've seen people with rubber bands that go from here down to the base here. So I don't know if that's just to help things out, or if that's, I mean, obviously they didn't use rubber bands in a day, but maybe they had a light spring that went between there. This looks like a pin with, yeah, a little grub screw that goes down in there. And take that out, knock that out. And I think we'll take this arm off. I don't know if there's a right and left on this, but there's a stamp on the casting. So that says 50R, and this says 50L, so there definitely is a left and a right. Interesting. So that is threaded on this side. So you put that in, it's in there, and then you put the nut on to keep it tight. So that's definitely supposed to have lubrication oil, and it's missing. I mean, it's not missing, it's clogged. And then this appears to be the cam. So that's sort of the high point right there. Okay, guess we'll take this off, and then we'll start taking the drive wheel and the clutch mechanism off. And then the opposite side is probably the highest part. I don't know if it makes a difference which way it goes on, but we're going to put it back on that way. I haven't really been able to figure out how this comes off. I'm pretty sure that on the other side, you need a special spanner and tool to go in there and hold that, and I think that threads off. This has a collar on it. I took the set screw out, but it doesn't want to come off. I don't see any place to grab it to turn it off. I'm thinking that this might use a wheel puller and pull it off. There's just enough to grab it in the back here. All right. Looks like it's pretty good all along. And just give this a couple turns. See if it starts to go anywhere. I'm not going to put a lot of stress on this. Oh yeah. It's just coming right off. Okay. I was going to say I wouldn't put a lot of stress on this if it weren't coming off, because it's not the end of the day. I can get some lubrication in there and try to flush it out, but it is coming off, so that's good. It comes off nicely. So there's our clutch. Let's sort of see how that works. Okay, yeah. Let's set this down. So here's how this works. Move the handle this way. You see how this has a radius on it. It pushes on this, makes that go out. You see this right here, it'll expand. See? So that's closed, and it pushes it open, so that pushes out against the inside of the wheel, like sort of like a brake, the old drum brakes. So that's sort of what that is. It's like a drum brake. All right, so I guess next step is the big screw there, bolt there, and probably take this off. And then this looks like it probably pulls right off. And then maybe this whole thing slides out, and we might not even need to take this off. So I used the wheel puller to get that off as well, which is a little sketchy given how that clutch is there, but that went fine. And then this appears to slide right out. So good. Now this is interesting. This has some pins down in it to keep that in one spot, which makes sense. All right, let's set that aside, take this and the link mechanism off and then the arm off, and that's it. Finish cleaning this and paint the base. Oops. Looks like we're gonna need to make these. So these probably should be a closer fit than that. They're pretty worn down. I don't think that'll be that bad. It's good. So that's completely clogged. And what's interesting about that, this needs to go in and this needs to go in that orientation so that you can get the oil down from there into there. And I have to look back at the video to see if that's the way it came out. Not 100% sure it was. All right, so I think that's it. Go ahead and take the arm off, then the little base off. Take these various things out. Might have to take it back outside and clean it again, and then we'll paint it. So we have paint now. So I am going to keep this this base, this cart. I thought this was a repurposed cart, and parts of it may be, but it's become apparent that this was custom built or purpose built for this. So I am going to keep it. It's got a neat little thing here. Mask that off, but you can raise and lower this part, which is where the wheel is. So you pull that up, and it'll sit on the legs and won't roll away. So all the pieces need to be cleaned and painted, and I'll start putting them back on one by one. I like how it turned out. And just like that, we got a bunch of painted parts and clean parts. So now we just take all of this, put it back on here, and we'll be done. So let's get started. I had a 50-50 chance, and I got it wrong. This inside has that step in there, and I forgot about that. And also, these have to be oriented on these holes. When I took it out, it was actually upside down. So at some point in time, it got put back in incorrectly. So one of the first jobs for the power hacksaw will be to cut off a piece of 1-inch 4140, and then we'll drill that out, put a hole in there for lubrication and a hole through there. You can see how much that's worn out. This is where this sits on that right there. I think it's make a big difference, but Okay, so the screw up here is that I need these to go through the top and sit down on this. And this is a gib, I guess. You got to make sure that they go down in the hole, and then this hole goes through the top where the reservoir is. You can't see it, but I can. All right, so that's it right there. There, you can feel it slide in. I have a feeling that the way they did this was they did this with the arm. They put this on this arm laying down flat. Because I don't know how, yeah. Wow. This sucks. Okay, so they do have enough room to grab that gib in here. If it wasn't for that, it'd be hard to do. So that's the auto off. You can see, if you can see right here. So when this comes back, it's going to hit that, and that pulls the clutch back out. So it's auto off. Excellent. I'm going to have to go back and look at the pictures. I'm not sure what goes between there. I also don't know what to do with the weight bar. That's about as clean as I could get it. I got these nice. That goes on there like that. And then I'm missing the weights, and we've got this guy, so we need to make another one of these in place of that. Missing one of the screws to set the gib over here. Here it is. So see, it's just a normal screw. So probably just cut the head off and put a slot in it. So we've got the vise left to do. Shine the handle up. Run that in here, screw that in, and then I think it's basically just adjustment from this point on. So I'm gonna cut right now, And then once we get the motor on and get that hooked up with the new flat belt, then we'll try cutting something. So it's finished up and it's ready for another cut. I've cut a couple things from 4140, a big chunk of that. It works pretty good. I'm still trying to get this height set right so that it doesn't pick the blade up too high and then drop it. The other thing is I'm going to need to get some weights up here because I've noticed I did a slow-mo video of this cutting and on the backstroke it bounces. So I think a little bit of weight up here will help. And you can sort of see that they probably had some weights up there before. That's what that bar is for. I did not get it. I did not get the weights. So there's the motor. I'll take you around and you got the VFD right here. 60 hertz on this is about 150 RPM here, which according to the manual I found is good for steel. So I think something harder, you might want to slow it down. So we got, the motor is 3450 RPM. I got a 2-inch pulley there and 12¼ pulley back there on a cross shaft. And that comes out to a 2.5-inch little flat belt pulley I made there. And that goes up the 12-inch pulley here. All right, so let's set this up. You can see as soon as I started that, it dropped, which is not good because that means it's when I engage this, it's probably going to slip the belt because the teeth are in the cut, but we'll give it a try. Okay, looks fine. All right, so there we go. All right, I'm sure we'll see more videos of this, but for now, that's it. And thanks for watching.